He swept the streets in silence while townsfolk mocked him, thinking he was nothing but a washed-up nobody. The mayor sneered, the councilman scoffed. No one cared who Silent Sam really was. But when a young reporter uncovered the medals hidden beneath his vest, everything flipped. Just wait until you see the moment the town stood still and how justice finally called him by name. In the dusty heat of Silver Pine, Texas, a man in a faded orange vest swept the sidewalk outside Halpern's Hardware every morning. He never spoke. Gray stubble clung to his jaw. His boots were cracked, soles half detached. The back of his shirt was permanently dark with sweat, even before noon. People called him Silent Sam, not to his face, never to his face, but often enough that the name stuck like chewing gum under a diner booth. Few remembered when he first showed up. Fewer cared to ask. "Don't look him in the eyes," muttered Tanya, the cafe manager next door. "He gives me the creeps." "Probably just some drifter doing court-ordered cleanup," said a delivery guy loading crates of soda into the icebox. "Guy looks like a scarecrow someone gave a broom," chuckled a teenager passing by on a bike. And one morning, as Sam quietly moved litter off the courthouse steps, Councilman Harris leaned on the railing and said just loud enough, "If he were worth a damn, he wouldn't be pushing a broom." Sam paused, then kept sweeping. He heard everything. He always did. But he never changed pace, never reacted. He moved from street corner to alleyway with the same slow rhythm, methodical, even graceful in an odd way. By early afternoon, he'd vanished behind the old train depot. No one knew where he slept. No one asked. They saw the vest, the silence, and the work, and decided the rest. One day a boy tugged on his father's hand as Sam passed by. "Dad, that man walks like Grandpa used to, like a soldier." His father didn't look up from his phone. "Nah," he said flatly. "Probably tried and didn't make it." Sam kept walking, same boots, same broom, just a little quieter than before. It was the kind of wind that turned leaves sideways and made old signs creak on their hinges. A Tuesday afternoon in Silver Pine. A middle schooler was hurrying home, hoodie zipped to his chin, when a sudden gust knocked his notebooks from his arms. Pages scattered across Main Street like startled birds. Before the boy could reach for them, a hand was already there, rough, steady, work-worn. Sam gathered the papers one by one, stacked them neatly, and tucked them back into the boy's folder. Then he reached out and adjusted one of the backpack straps that had slipped from the boy's shoulder. The boy blinked. "Thank you, sir." Sam gave a short nod. No smile, no words. He turned to go. The boy hesitated, then called after him. "You were in the military, weren't you?" Sam stopped. "My granddad had that same walk," the boy said. "Afghanistan." Sam didn't speak, but for just a second something shifted in his eyes. Not pride, not surprise, something closer to weight, like a name he hadn't heard in a long time. That evening, as twilight settled over the courthouse, Sam walked around back to the small employee kitchen. He waited politely at the door. "Staff only," said the janitor, not unkindly, but firmly. The door shut behind him. Sam didn't argue. He stepped back, sat on the curb beneath a flickering street lamp, and pulled a dented can of beans from his vest pocket. He used a key to pry it open, ate slowly, carefully, with fingers that still carried a soldier's steadiness. A few yards away, the mayor exited the side entrance, adjusting his tie, mumbling into his Bluetooth headset. He glanced toward Sam, then scoffed just loud enough. "This is what our tax dollars fund now? If he'd done anything useful with his life, he wouldn't be sweeping gutters." Sam said nothing, just lowered his eyes and kept eating. By morning, something new had appeared in chalk across the courthouse steps. "Who was he before you bent his head to the dirt?" No one saw who wrote it, but every passerby read it. Some stepped over the words, some walked around them, a few simply stopped and stared. Everything changed the day the local news van rolled into Silver Pine. It was a routine assignment, just a feel-good segment about the town's modest community work program. Clean sidewalks, repainted benches, a few smiling volunteers waving at the camera. The anchor was new, Jessica Wells, just months out of journalism school, still adjusting her mic nervously, still hoping for stories that mattered. That afternoon, as the school bell rang and children spilled out onto the curb, Jessica spotted a figure sweeping near the gates. Quiet, precise, intent, the man in the orange vest. She approached gently, not wanting to startle him. "Sir, would you mind if I asked you a few questions?" she asked. He paused, then shook his head. Jessica lowered her mic, about to thank him politely and walk away. But something caught her eye, a jagged scar, faint but unmistakable, peeking out from beneath the collar of his shirt. She hesitated. "My dad served in Ramadi," she said softly. "He used to get this faraway look when someone mentioned it. Said they lost a lot of good people there." At that, the man looked at her, really looked. His eyes locked onto hers. Not with defensiveness, not with pride, just a long, unblinking stillness, like someone deciding whether the past was still safe in the present. Then, without a word, he turned away from the camera crew. He reached behind his neck and undid the Velcro straps of his orange vest. Then, with careful hands, he pulled off the outer shirt he wore over his undershirt. What was revealed beneath left everyone frozen. A sun-bleached, sweat-worn Army-issue t-shirt clung to his frame, and across his chest, secured by faded webbing, were 37 military decorations. The Silver Star, a Bronze Star with Valor device, the Purple Heart, a Navy Cross, a Combat Infantryman badge, campaign ribbons from Iraq, Afghanistan, Kosovo, and Somalia, a NATO Commendation Medal, even an Army Distinguished Service Cross, barely hanging by its frayed ribbon. Off camera, a technician dropped his clipboard. Someone else whispered, "What the?" then caught himself. Jessica's hand trembled slightly as she raised her mic again. She asked, barely above a breath, "Why didn't you ever tell anyone?" For the first time in the interview, the man spoke. His voice was steady, gravelly, but clear. "I don't sweep streets because I failed. I sweep them because pedestals are heavier than brooms." No one said anything, not the camera crew, not the parents passing by, not even the mayor, watching silently from the courthouse steps. And for the first time in Silver Pine's long memory, Silent Sam wasn't invisible anymore. He was seen, not for the broom in his hand, but for the weight he carried quietly, every day. The story aired on a Thursday night. By Friday morning, it had gone viral. The headline was simple, but it hit hard. Decorated war hero working as janitor in Texas town. 37 medals, 0 recognition. Clips from the interview spread across every platform. News anchors replayed his quiet words on loop. Pedestals are heavier than brooms. By Saturday, national outlets had picked up the story. Journalists camped outside City Hall. Veterans groups sent delegations. Local politicians suddenly had open schedules. The mayor held a press conference, then resigned within the week. Councilman Harris stopped appearing at public events altogether, and across Silver Pine, the townspeople began to ask the same question. How did we not see him? They came with apologies, with gifts, with offers. The Chamber of Commerce voted unanimously to name the town square after him. The school district pledged a scholarship fund in his name. And the city council extended an offer, veteran affairs liaison, a salaried position, full benefits, flexible hours. Sam listened, then shook his head. "I'm not looking for titles," he said quietly. "Let someone younger take that. I've done enough standing in line." He didn't want a podium, he just wanted peace, and slowly Silver Pine gave him that. Each morning now, the bench near the school gates, his bench, is covered in small tributes, flags tucked into the wood, handwritten notes folded carefully in Ziploc bags, paper flowers made by second graders who never met him in uniform but waved to him like he's theirs. One note, written in blue crayon, said, "Thank you for staying in the fight even when your country looked away." Another read, "You don't sweep for us anymore. We stand because of you." Nobody calls him Silent Sam now. They call him by his name, Corporal Samuel Jacobs, 3rd Battalion, U.S. Infantry Division. He still walks with that same careful gait, still wears worn boots, still keeps to himself more often than not. But when he walks past now, even the teenagers stand up, not out of obligation, not because anyone told them to, but because somehow, deep down, they know they're in the presence of someone who never asked for respect and earned more than most ever will.